Welcome, ladies. Welcome to the Confidently Styled Woman. So, I just did this just like minutes ago, and it's kind of been in the works. So, the new private Facebook group is now the Confidently Styled Woman versus Style with Significance. Now, everything I talk about, it will always have significance. But I really wanted you to identify with this group. I wanted you to feel that it was you who I was talking about. So I do see somebody's here, and I'm using StreamYard. So I want this to be interactive, please answer or ask questions. And what I'll do is I'll come on afterwards and answer those questions. But I want to welcome you today. And today we're going to be talking about fashion feng shui. And it's on my mind because I'm actually have a workshop coming up about it. And many women, I'm going to say probably you are one of them, have no clue of what it is. And I didn't either when it came across my desk. And I'm just going to kind of share with you how it all started in 2016. I got an email. It was through the International Association of Image Consultants. And we have training that we need to do on a regular basis. And this came up, fashion feng shui. And it was very intriguing to me, but I thought, what in the heck is it? And before I decided to invest in the training, I bought the book and I literally read it in 2 days. And I realized at that moment, it was a style system, it was a philosophy that I intuitively knew that I was using with my clients, but I really didn't have a language to it. And I also didn't have a blueprint to give to you to say, okay, this works. So, anyways, today I'm going to talk about what is it, kind of those feelings that you might have, knowing that something feels off, but you have no clue of what it is. And so, I want to begin with that piece of it is something feels off, like you're in the dressing room, your girlfriend's with you, you're at your favorite boutique or you're at your favorite department store, and everybody is saying, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. You have to get it. Let me know if that's ever happened to you. And you keep kind of looking in the mirror and you're like, I don't know. I don't know if this is me. Or you go home. So then you decide, okay, I'm going to get it. My favorite fashionista girlfriend has told me this looks amazing. And then you get home and you're not wearing it. And you look in the mirror and you're like, this doesn't feel like me. There's an inauthenticity feeling, but you don't know what it is and you don't even know how to identify it. And, this also happens with trends is what's trendy for the season and you're like, oh my gosh, everybody's wearing this and you try it on. I remember this happening to me. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this particular blouse style is so in and I should love it. It's like, it's my color. I like the fabric. And then I put it on and I just don't like the way it feels, the way it looks. And so those are like little red, yellow lights that you should be listening to because I believe, and through fashion feng shui, it's all about understanding how to dress from the inside out. And again, that's another subject matter. We're going to get into that a little bit, but you may be wondering, I don't get it. I don't understand. What do you mean by the inside out? We are so trained to, for example, look at, again, I'm going to use your fashionista girlfriend because I think it's a great example that, oh my gosh, I love her style. Or you see a mannequin and you're like, oh my gosh, I love that outfit. And I'm not at all saying not to use that as inspiration, but I don't want you to be disappointed when you see it on the mannequin or you see it on your best girlfriend, fashionista girlfriend, and it doesn't feel good on you. And again, that is something that you need to listen to. You need to start listening to when it doesn't feel good and when it feels amazing. So I'm going to say this in a really, really simplified version of what fashion feng shui is. It is like a personality type. And you've all taken personality profiles like maybe Myers-Briggs or DISC, the Enneagram, and there's certain characteristics about you that show up consistently, right? The same is going to happen with fashion feng shui. And so one of the exercises, and if you've been around following me for a while, you've probably heard this, and I'm going to say it again because it's really important to listen to that and really honor it. And so that exercise is, if I gave you a blank white t-shirt, I'm going to use this blouse right now, a blank white blouse, t-shirt, and you could put one word that described you. It may be something you stand for. It may be how people describe you. It may be something you value. I don't want you to overthink it. I want you to instantly, what would that one word be? I want you, if you would share it in the comments, I would love that. I'd love to go back and just see. So I want to tell you my experience when I did this, when I started my fashion feng shui training, which I am now one of 50 in the United States as a fashion feng shui facilitator. My first word was excellence. And I'll be honest, I thought, okay, what does that have to do with my personal style? Well, what I found out, it has everything to do with my fashion and style. This is what I learned a lot, is so many times we as women compare ourselves to others, like, oh, I wish I had her body type. Oh, I wish I could rock that outfit like Susie does, instead of having a self-acceptance on who we are. And so, since, excuse me, over the last 8 years or so, fashion feng shui, the fashion feng shui style system has changed their names. But what you, the first is honoring, and this is when I asked you about your t-shirt word, was honoring the essence of who you are. And so, yes, we are multifaceted human beings, and I'm trying to say this very simply because sometimes it can kind of feel overwhelming. But that word excellence comes into a category of somebody who's organized, somebody who really values quality, somebody who values beauty. And that particular element is metal. And so you may have heard feng shui of water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. And I'm not going to get into all the specifics today. I'm just giving you a really, really broad stroke. And we're going to be talking about more of this in the weeks to come. But it is about honoring who you are. And as I said, when I first started that particular metal category, they called the perfectionist. They have since changed it to the connoisseur. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have really never considered myself a perfectionist. I always used to look at my husband's a perfectionist. I'm not the perfectionist. And I started asking people, and they're like, oh my gosh, yes, Annette, you are a perfectionist. And there's such negative connotation, out there right now about being a perfectionist. So I like to use the word connoisseur. And I really, at that point in time, I started being more self-acceptance, because sometimes it's hard to do that when you start really honoring this is who I am. And can I tell you, when you start accepting who you are, you will begin to start loving yourself in your clothing. That is the beginning of dressing from the inside out. It's not about being self-critical. It's stop comparing yourself, wondering why that doesn't look good on you. It's because you're not honoring who you are. So I'm going to go through kind of really quickly, and I mentioned the elements, and I'm going to say them in kind of an easy way. I'm just something, oh, here I am. I didn't grab my sheet here. So I'm going to start with the first of the water element, and that person tends to be more introspective. That person is very much a creative kind of soul. That person doesn't mind being alone. And that particular styling, you love things that are very unique. You love things that have kind of a go with the flow. And if you kind of think of water. So I'm doing this very, very simply. What I do want to share with you is, if this really kind of piques your interest, currently I do have an in-person workshop I'm doing in Seattle, but I've been getting lots of feedback from people. You're not in Seattle, and I would love to offer a much more comprehensive workshop virtually. So if that interests you, just put FFS, which is Fashion Feng Shui, and I will be doing something in the near future. Then there's the person who is the wood element, and that person really values movement. And you are the girl who you're on the go, you get things done, you're kind of might be that energizer bunny, and you need clothes that move with you. You love maybe the Ponte fabrics. You might be more of a sporty kind of girl, and you really align with that. Then there's the fire, and the fire girl really embraces drama. Like, you love yourself some bright pink. It might be red that you love. You might even love some of the purples, really bright purples. You love coral, and you are the captivator. You love a little bit of attention, and you don't mind being the center of attention. And this is the hard part, is sometimes to go, oh my gosh, that's me. I mean, when you start being really truthful with yourself and saying, yes, that's me. Now, what I do want to segue into, as I said earlier, we are multifaceted, and we have a dominant essence element, but we also have an influencing, which would be your second one. So they kind of go together. So, but today I'm just talking about that number one. And then the fourth element is earth. And you are a personality that's a little more traditional. You love supporting people. You may work in a little bit more of a corporate environment. You are a super woman of giving to others, supporting others, maybe a caregiver. And you love more classic styled clothing. You love khaki, you love camel, you love tweeds. And so it's honoring that. And you may think, wow, I used to wear that years ago and you haven't worn it for a long time. And it might be going back to that real true self of who you are. And then the fifth is metal. And I've already kind of mentioned it. When I identified that I was a metal, that is your personality is elegance. You really value high quality. You're the connoisseur slash perfectionist, even though we don't want to admit it, right? You value beauty. You're an organized person. You're a person in leadership. This gave me, when I learned I can be so fussy with how things fit, and it goes back to kind of that refinement, there was so much self-acceptance that this is who I am. And yes, I know we have traits that we can, how do I want to say this? We say that maybe they're negative. And so it is being aware of some of these traits, and you've probably learned them in other personality profiles, that we need to, that awareness, like, oh my gosh, okay, Annette, don't go down that track of so perfectionist. But it is that self-acceptance. This is what happens when you really identify that essence of who you are. Is there is such a feeling comfortable in your own skin. And I just saw someone posted, I think it was Denise. I just saw this super random right when I got on Facebook, and it was a quote, and it was about walking in the room, and it's never about the clothes that you wear, but it's about that confidence that shows through, and it's that confidence in you. And this is what I always tell the gals that I work with. My ultimate goal is to help you to dress so that you feel like $1,000,000. You feel you are so aligned with who you are, that you then walk out the door and 100% forget about what you're wearing. You should never be fussing about what you're wearing. You should, I said the word should. My passion and my goal for you is to have a wardrobe that represents you, that it is so aligned with your authenticity. It makes you feel confident. It makes you that you can go into the room and you're influential and you're elevating and expressing that style. And that's what your clothes should do for you. They're part of you. They're not this. So many times people think my clothes are over here. It's very, very, very external, and I'm over here. And there's a total disconnect. I do not believe that. I believe that they go together. And that's just what exactly I've explained to you about dressing from the inside out. And there's just a fulfillment. There's a comfort in your own skin. So before we go, I have one last exercise I want you to do. And that is, I want you to go into your closet and I want you to pick out a piece that you love, like it is your go-to piece. And I want you to write some descriptive words on why you love it. And then what I want you to do is I want you to grab another piece of clothing that you bought, you loved it, but you never wear it. And it's almost like, I got this, I should love it, but I don't. I don't wear it. And write down descriptive words about that piece. And sometimes it could be fit, it could be color, it could be other things, or it could not be. So, anyways, I'm going to be doing this for the next couple of Wednesdays. We're all going to be on Wednesday at noon Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be discussing something that is significant with your wardrobe in the Confidently Styled Woman. And I would love to know, do you like the new name? I will see you next Wednesday.